CBS News political director and Face the Nation moderator John Dickerson is in Washington. John, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie.
Even though Donald Trump is ahead in New York and in Pennsylvania, if he loses in Wisconsin, will that do significant damage to his nomination pathway?
Well, it'll be a big bump in the road for him for two reasons. One, just the simple delegates. And it'll matter not just who wins Wisconsin, but how they win. If Ted Cruz beats him, does Ted Cruz get all 42 delegates, or does he get some smaller number? That's crucial, of course, because the 1,237 delegates Trump would need to get the nomination, that's the key number to pay attention to. So if he lost, makes it harder for him to get to that number before Cleveland. And then there's just the momentum question. This last week has been framed as a tough week for him. People might think that the result in Wisconsin, if Trump loses, is a sort of ratification of the bad judgment of last week on his campaign.
But he told you yesterday on Face the Nation, he was one of your guests, that he did not necessarily consider that his worst week. Were you surprised that that was his response?
Well, he's an optimistic guy, and people are rarely going to say, yes, I had a terrible week. But you see some of his behaviors at the end of the week and some of his admissions suggesting that he recognizes there are some things that he needs to clean up. But the great news for the Trump campaign and for him is that he's got a 30-point lead in New York and a 20-point lead in Pennsylvania, the next two contests. And they will certainly argue if he loses Wisconsin that it's a different kind of state, that it's more a state that Ted Cruz would be prepared to do better in.
John, how do you analyze the Battleground Tracker poll that showed 78% of Trump supporters in Wisconsin say that Trump has said things that have been unfair or gone too far, but they're going to vote for him anyway?
Well, you know, that's probably what undergirds his support overall, which is a lot of voters that I've talked to. They say, yes, he goes too far, and they wish he wouldn't say a thing or two here or there. But they essentially think that he speaks to a larger truth in a way that no other candidate comes close to. That's what they love about him, and they're willing to sort of take him off the hook on all the other stuff.
John, can you imagine any circumstances that John Kasich would leave the race before the convention?
I think it's pretty hard to figure that out. I mean, he hasn't left so far. And the fact that Donald Trump wants him to leave, I'm sure, having not talked to the governor, that makes him want to stay in because Trump wants him to leave because he's taking delegates away from him, or might. And that's all John Kasich is trying to do, is take delegates away from Donald Trump.
But now Ted Cruz is also running ads against the Ohio governor, too. He's got two people.
More motivation to stay in for John Kasich. Something must be going right is the way he would read that.
All right, John Dickerson, thank you so much.